In the frenzy of a train station, a chance encounter intertwines two destinies in an unexpected way. While waiting for his train, a man suddenly finds himself in front of his ex-partner, in difficulty with a little girl. The past rises again, revealing hidden secrets and giving rise to a plot of pain and new possibilities. I wish you a good viewing. For this story full of surprises and emotional discoveries, I also invite you to subscribe to the channel so as not to miss other exciting stories. There was a beautiful sunset that day, and Mark, oppressed by thoughts, headed towards the station to return to his hometown. As he approached the station, he noticed a familiar figure in the distance. It was his ex-partner, Sally, who was begging with a little girl in her arms. Mark's heart accelerated, overwhelmed by memories and decisions not made in the past. Driven by an intense emotion, Mark approached her. "Sally, is that you?" She, visibly surprised, blushed. "What are you doing here?" she asked. She then explained that the little girl was her niece, the daughter of his sister Emma, who had been dealing with severe depression and was hospitalized. Even though the healthcare covered many expenses, the bills piled up, forcing Sally to ask for help at the station. So she said goodbye and went towards the hospital, because Emma would be discharged shortly thereafter, leaving Mark motionless, full of regrets and speechless. As young people, Mark and Sally shared an intense love, tested by the strong pressures of Mark's mother, Marion, and by the social differences between the two. Marion's objections about Sally's modest origin undermined the couple's trust and influenced Mark's decisions, leading him to end their relationship. This left Sally devastated, finding solace only in the support of her sister Emma. In the following years, Mark moved away to study and try to forget Sally, although the past continued to haunt him. Over time, reflecting on his choices and feeling the need for redemption, Mark tried to track down Sally, only to discover that she too had left the city for study reasons. He thought she was fine, until that unexpected day at the train station. There, fate seemed to have decided to intervene, introducing him to Sally, now in difficulty with a little girl at her side. "Wait, I'll call a taxi and take you to the hospital," Mark said. This reaction surprised Sally, who hadn't expected such an attitude from him, considering that he had left her without looking back. Initially, she refused the offer, but Mark, showing courage, insisted, apologizing for his behavior in the past. So Sally decided to accept his help. They left for the hospital, and during the journey, a heavy silence hovered, with the little girl asleep on Sally's lap. Trying to break the ice, Mark asked the little girl's name, noting her resemblance to Sally. She hesitantly replied that in fact everyone said the little girl looked like her. Once they arrived at the hospital, Sally thanked her and took her leave, going in to take care of her sister Emma's discharge formalities. When the women with the little girl left the hospital, they found Mark waiting for them. Without hesitation, he approached, offering his help. "Can I call a taxi for you?" Emma gave him a warm smile and said something that shocked both him and Sally. If you like this story, it would be kind of you to leave a like and maybe remember to subscribe to the channel. 1,000 thanks. I'm really happy you're here, Mark. It's important for Nika to have her father around. These words struck and sank Mark. Nika? So that's why you didn't tell me her name in the taxi. Sally, with her gaze now fixed on Mark's face, nodded slowly. Yes, Nika was always the name I wanted to give my daughter. It's important to me, to us. Mark, observing the resemblance between Nika and Sally and listening to Emma's words, felt a mix of emotions overwhelm him. I have to understand, Sally. Why didn't you tell me before? Sally took a deep breath, ready to share the truth she had guarded for so long. Please stay calm. I'll explain everything to you, but later. With these words, the tension eased slightly, leaving room for a dialogue that would be decisive for their future. Sally explained that upon discovering she was pregnant, she had initially planned to share the news with great joy with Mark. Unfortunately, however, the fear of Marion's reaction and the desire not to be an obstacle to Mark's dreams had made her hesitate. Before she could reveal the news, Mark had abruptly ended their relationship, leaving her alone with her secret. Sally had decided not to reveal the pregnancy, recalling a conversation in which Mark had expressed the fear of becoming a father unexpectedly and without ideal conditions. Moved by fear of interfering in Mark's plans for his life, she made the difficult decision to keep the secret. The situation became complicated when Emma, the only person Sally could count on for help in managing the little girl, became seriously ill and spent a long time in hospital. Without support and unable to work, she was forced to beg to support herself and her daughter. Her words revealed a silent sacrifice, a gesture of protection that she thought was best at the time. Discovering that Nika was his daughter, Mark was overwhelmed by conflicting emotions and the surprise of suddenly finding himself the father of a beautiful little girl. This moment marked the beginning of a delicate adjustment process for him, Sally, and Nika as they worked to build a new family dynamic. Fatherhood intensified the bond between Mark and Sally, renewing their love and teaching them the value of truth and forgiveness. Over time, their story transformed into a path of reconciliation and renewal, demonstrating that love can overcome any challenge. What do you think about how past choices can affect relationships, especially in terms of love and forgiveness?